John Ratcliffe, former Director of National Intelligence. Sir, thank you for your time. You've been on the other side of this previously in the administration with Donald Trump. What would explain why we know so little, why they're telling us so little so far?
Well, I think you have to look at this in the big picture, Bill. I think they're still analyzing what we'll call objects numbers 2, 3, and 4. But what we're getting is a clear picture that one of these is not like the other. And so it goes back to, this may be as simple as an overreaction to an underreaction. So we know that the first object was a spy balloon. It was 200 feet high. It had a payload bay and a surveillance bay. We've been told the numbers 2, 3, and 4 have none of those things and are maybe as little as 1/10 of the size, not maneuverable, drifting with the wind. So, and even, Bill, the other thing is the excuses that we were told why number 1, the Chinese spy balloon, couldn't be shot down have now drifted away with numbers 2, 3, and 4. In other words, we were told, well, we can't shoot it down over Alaska. Well, the second object was. We were told that it couldn't be shot down over land or near civilians or over the continental U.S., and that went away with numbers 3 and 4. So, again, I think that this goes back to one of these is not like the other. The first one was badly mismanaged, and I think some of this, the Biden administration is really scrambling and don't have an explanation or aren't giving explanations for what they're doing with different objects, is numbers 2, 3, and 4.
So what I hear from that answer is that they don't know yet. They're putting this together. Michael McCall has a different explanation. Here he is from Sunday.
These spy balloons have great capability to gather and collect intelligence. The imagery that they can capture and other intelligence data that I can't be specific about can be captured and then transmitted back to the mothership in Beijing. They have control over these balloons. This was an act of espionage in plain sight, plain view of the American people.
All right, now that last point, this is espionage in plain sight. Is that the case?
Well, he's absolutely right. That's absolutely right about the first instance. That was a dedicated flight path over our most sensitive military sites, nuclear sites, critical infrastructure, from end to end, a transcontinental voyage with respect to the Chinese spy balloon. But what you heard from the NORAD commander is with numbers 2, 3, and 4, they're not characterizing them as balloons. They're not characterizing them as Chinese. They're not characterizing them as even spy balloons. And they're saying that they're drifting slowly. They're not maneuverable. They have very different characteristics. So we simply don't know. But, Bill, the point is this, is people are filling in the blanks and speculating because the Biden administration is not addressing this. They're not being transparent. They're not giving good explanations, for what's going on here. And I think that that's a huge misstep and a disservice to the American people who shouldn't be having to speculate about this. Yeah. And our lawmakers should be getting apprised by the intelligence community and the military community.
Would you expect them to give us an explanation today in full?
Yes, absolutely. I think they, think about it this way, Bill. With respect to the objects numbers 2, 3, and 4, if these were aircraft that went down that had potential survivors or passengers, they would be there. They would find a way to be there and to collect the information. So to say that, well, we haven't been able to recover everything or get to it, we don't have much information, is really just buying time to try and how to explain. They've got to give those explanations. And they've got to give them quickly. I think people they've run out of rope on this. But I think the thing to keep in mind is, at the end of the day, what we do know is that China is the threat that many of us have been saying for years. Don't lose sight of the first episode, which was a dedicated spy mission that was successful for China and a national security failure for the United States.